Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to be using the nacho cheese we made in the last video to make a veggie quesadilla. Alright, so we're going to start by chopping our vegetables, obviously, for our vegetable quesadillas. And we're going to start with half of a large red onion. So we are going to cut this in half from top to root. Get rid of half of that. Pull off our skin. You know, if you can. Okay, I've wiped the board and rinsed the knife so that we won't risk getting any skin or root into our food. You're gonna curl your knuckles, rest your knife up against your knuckles and cut off the end here. Keep the root end intact so that it holds your onion together. Use your knuckles as a guide, keeping your fingers curved in and your thumb behind so that you don't cut them off. We're going to give this a slice, but not all the way through. Not all the way through to the root is what I mean. Okay, I'm going to give it a slice here in the middle. Okay. And then finish my chop this direction. And just get rid of that part. And that's it for our half of a red onion. I'm going to go ahead and put this red onion into a bowl to make room for my peppers that I'm going to cut next. The peppers and the onions are going to be cooked together so that they can go directly into the same container while you're waiting and chopping the other vegetables. Now we'll go ahead and do our peppers. So you start by cutting off both ends. Okay. And then we've got the seeds and the pith inside here. The pith is the white part. We're just going to slice around the pith on the inside. These in the way, sorry. So just slice those and that'll come right out. Get rid of that. And cut that in half. Okay, that one's fine the way it is. Well, I'm going to cut out the middle of this here because you don't want this end. Okay, and then the stem will just come right out. You just push it with your thumb and pull. Okay, and we'll go ahead and start cutting these. My kids like it better when they're cut really small. So, knife up against the knuckles. Give it a thin slice. It gets down to the end there and it's easier to just tip it over. Might be easier to hold it that way. Okay. You can use any colored pepper for this. My son insists that he only likes orange peppers, which is ridiculous because I put green and red peppers into this all the time and he eats it. He doesn't have a problem with it. When you get to these halves, they're really nice just to press down. Have the skin side up, make sure your knife is sharp. And give those a nice slice. Turn them and chop. Alright, so now we have half of a red onion, 2 bell peppers, and half of a jalapeno. For instruction on how to chop a jalapeno, you can see my last video on nacho cheese or visit the how-to section of moreveggiesmom.com. I have preheated a large skillet on medium heat. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons about of pure olive oil, or you could use canola or coconut oil. It doesn't matter. You just need oil. And that's pretty warm, so I'm going to get these in here. And I am going to stir them frequently and just get them to where they're soft and the onions are translucent. We will continue to check in on our peppers and onions, but in the meantime, we're going to get started cutting some mushrooms. The easiest way I have found to chop mushrooms is to cut them in half so that they lay flat like that, and then you can slice them this way and then that way. I'll start this way. You don't have to worry about the stems. Well, I mean, I take off the very end of the stem, but you can use the rest of it. Some people don't like to use the stems at all. I don't see anything wrong with it. We're just giving these a rough chop. They do not have to be perfect by any means. And we're going to do about a cup of chopped mushrooms. But that's how it's done. Okay, now we're going to get started chopping some spinach. I just take it in bunches like this and make sure it's rinsed and that you have taken any of the wilting ones out. Oh, okay. And I slice it roughly this direction. Does not have to be perfect. And then I chop it this direction, the opposite direction, up to about the stems, because you don't want any of the stems. So, found one. Get rid of that. Now, I just put my mushrooms in the same container that I had my peppers in before, because I don't like to do dishes. And I'm just going to stick my spinach in there with it. I've just got another little bunch here. So this is going to be about 3 cups. If you want more, use more. If you want less, use less. Alright, so our spinach is chopped. I did make one mistake though. I had to pull the spinach back out of my mushrooms. They don't go in together. But the peppers and onions are ready to go. They've been going for about, it can take about 10 to 15 minutes, but they're nice and soft now and my onions are translucent. So I'm going to take my mushrooms and add those. Also, I have a can of black beans that I have rinsed and drained. You can see I've got it perched precariously on top of the can it came in. I do that to drain it. Not the best idea, but like I said, I don't like doing dishes. So toss those in there. And then I have 1 teaspoon each of cumin, coriander, and oregano, all dried and ground. And we'll add that and give this a stir. Once your mushrooms start to get nice and moist, then we will go ahead and add the spinach and cook it just until it wilts. While we're waiting on this, you'll notice I didn't really measure a whole lot, or at all in this recipe. It's because it's completely preference. If you want more peppers or less peppers, then do that. If you want to omit the jalapeno because you're worried about the heat, that's fine too. Although my children have not complained about the heat in this. Perhaps they're used to it, I don't know. If you want to add a tomato, add a tomato. In fact, why haven't I tried that already? That sounds really good. If you do add a tomato, do it at the very end with your spinach. because those cook and break down quickly. You don't really want them to break down. As you can see, our mushrooms are becoming nice and moist, which means they're cooking and breaking down. And we'll go ahead and add our spinach now. We'll get the spinach in here. And like I said, stir and cook just until the spinach is wilted. And that'll just take a minute or two, not long at all. Okay, that is done and I have pulled it off the heat. Doesn't that look awesome? But it's going inside a quesadilla, so your kids will never know. Now we're ready to assemble our quesadillas. I have another pan over here preheated to medium heat. I'm going to use whole wheat Guerrero tortillas. The other tortillas that I have tried are either too sweet or they have like a grainy texture that I do not like. So get 2 of them to start. I have my nacho cheese sauce from the last video that we made. I'm going to give it a thin layer on each tortilla. And then I'm going to take one over here. I'm going to spray my pan with some cooking spray. Get that on there. And then you can do as much or as little of the veggie mix that you want. My kids like a little bit less, but if I put too much, it starts to fall out, and then they're like, "What is this stuff you're feeding us?" I'm like, "Well, does it taste good?" "Yeah, but I don't know. It's green, Mom." So, as much or as little as you like. And then put your other one on top. And press them down a little bit so that the cheese will stick to all those veggies and keep them inside. When it starts to brown on the bottom, we'll flip it over. And that's all there is to it. So to cut these, I use a pizza cutter because that's just how I roll. Pun not intended. Wow, how cheesy. Okay, there's another pun. We're done now. Anyway, I just cut them like this with the pizza cutter. Depending on your pan, you may want to be more careful than I am. Here we have our veggie quesadillas. I served mine with some extra nacho cheese sauce. And you can actually put these in a lunchbox for your kids to take to school. Contrary to popular belief, you can have cold quesadillas, just like cold pizza. I love cold pizza. So, enjoy. For more videos, printable recipes, and tips on working in the kitchen, please visit moreveggiesmom.com.